favorite rock. Rocco, 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 our favorite rock.
I enjoy that.
I do too. I absolutely adore
Problem
it.
is, it's not long enough, so it takes like 2 minutes for people to notice and come in, but it's all right. So I've got this is just a good drinking whiskey. That's not my favorite. It's in there, but Gibson.
No, alrighty.
I need a new bottle. So this was the story of this company. It was originally a distillery from Pennsylvania that got shut down during Prohibition. So then this guy Gibson, who was an entrepreneur, bought the equipment at dirt cheap prices, transported it to Canada to start making Canadian whiskey that he then bootlegged back to the United States. So it still exists. Gibson whiskey. So there you go.
The quirks of that era.
I mean, if you're gonna drink whiskeys, you should like understand a bit about them, I think.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like the encyclopedia, but I mean, you should know a little bit.
No, it's always good to appreciate
You
this.
can sound like only half an idiot when you talk to people. So wait, okay. I have a 4-day weekend, so this is like the weekend for me. I don't have to work.
Very nice.
Cheers.
Cheers. I got tea in here.
I just put a bunch of ice in it when I drink whiskey. Some people would call that weak, but
Yeah.
my friend's a real big whiskey guy and Scotch guy, and he puts water in it. So that's how you're supposed to drink it. You put like a splash. What the hell's a splash? I put water in every time he tells me I put too much in or too little. I'm like, I don't know what's a splash. Screw your splash. Anyways, Gil is here. He's going to debate Strongman on QQQ versus VT.
Ooh.
You got to pay Strongman though. So as I put weapon physics into my game. Oh, there you go.
Yep. So. Game developer or producer or what have you. Entrepreneur. There we go.
Yep. I couldn't believe I was like, I got on a roll. I've been busy playing Chivalry 2 lately. That game's fun as hell. I gotta say.
Looks like it.
I only buy like 2 games a year, so there's not that many games interesting anymore. So I'm like, when it went on sale, and I was like, $24. Fun, real fun. I've said it before, but like when you're my age, like playing like COD, like Call of Duty, it's like it's hard to be that fast, like that twitchy. Like those people, man, they're like so freaking twitchy. The reactions, I'm like, I can't keep up with that stuff. So I don't want to get shot up by some 12-year-old kid. He's gonna make fun of me.
that game, like it brought out.
Gil's gonna destroy, dude. Chivalry 2 is a lot of fun. You get these huge hammers. You just run into a crowd. You just start swinging it. Fucking boom, knock some dude out. I love it. So I'll probably play it after this. All right, we've wasted people's time. I don't know who's up this late. So before we start, I thought it's kind of funny to look at this. So here is Warren Buffett's 13F. I try and get the originals when I can of stuff to verify it rather than news. So it literally said right here, confidential treatment requested. Managers omitted one or more holdings on the 13F. Everyone said one holding. So, but this says one or more. Interesting. Yeah. Request confidentiality. So this is 2 quarters in a row that they've gotten this, because everyone assumed they would disclose, because last one they did this also. So what is it? So tell us what it is. Anyone in the comments, you can. What do you think he's buying? So, okay, first question, I guess, or no, it's really. Do you think it's something they currently hold, or do you think it's a new position? Any guesses? Bacon, you can guess.
They're buying more Oxy.
Buying more Oxy.
Yeah,
but they've been buying it a long time. Yeah. I don't know if they can buy much more Oxy, because they don't want to. He doesn't ever want to be the majority holder of anything. I don't think. I think he tries to avoid some of that unless he buys it outright.
Hmm.
I don't know. You know what I was thinking? He already owns Capital One.
Oh,
What if he knew somehow they were buying Discover and he's been acquiring Discover now for like 6 months, knowing Capital One was going to go after them because he's owned Capital One for, I think, 2 or 3 years now. So I don't know. Everyone thinks it's a financial company, so that would leave, you're talking like the front runner's JP Morgan that I've seen online, which would fit with Berkshire. I can't imagine it would be the ones that he sold because I think he sold Wells Fargo, he sold Goldman Sachs. It'd be kind of weird to go back into them. He already owns American Express.
yeah.
JP
It's,
Morgan or Discover. I that's my guess, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. I'm
I
not
don't think
sure.
he'd do like oil I mean, he already has Chevron. Would he do Exxon too?
The absolute madman.
Yeah. So he's got Chevron and Oxy. I don't see it being another energy play. Some people, he's got Verizon already. I don't know why he would,
Yep.
or no, he doesn't have Verizon. He
Or
used to.
Visa.
No. So why would he go back into it?
Hmm.
He has MasterCard and Visa. So some people thought PayPal. Like a lot of people, all the PayPal clowns thought it was PayPal because if it's cheap. So early, Warren Buffett buys cheap stocks, right? That's all he cares about. Not good company. No, cheap stocks. But I'm like, he already owns Visa and MasterCard. Nice job. But
Yeah.
why would he buy a dying company anyways? Oh, so I don't know. Anyways, anyone's guess. Let's see. Interesting guess.
It is an interesting guess.
It's currently, I think, 1.7 billion. So it's not big. It's not Berkshire consideration big. I don't think he's ever owned Microsoft. So that'd be interesting. That would, yeah, maybe. Equity for bailing us. I don't know. Let's see. Why would he omit? He requested. They requested not to disclose it so that they could acquire it because they know that when they acquire things, the price will probably shoot up when it's found out that Warren Buffett's buying it. Although Oxy's price has not gone up really since he's been acquiring massive amounts of it. It's a little bit of a surprise to me on that one, semi-surprise, but I don't know. I think it's also a play on the carbon capture technology at Oxy, which that probably won't play out for some years to come if that's why he bought it, which I don't know actually. Or what about Fang? Get into the Permian Basin now that Fang's going to merge with somebody else.
Was it Diamondback or someone else?
Yeah, I can't remember. All right, so we'll move on from that. The real stop screen. Should we do car sales? We'll do cars first.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. That flows nice.
Cars. Okay. So some of the preliminary forecasting for this year has come out last month or so. So prices of cars has declined slightly. I think it was 2% from last year. So a lot of the reporting I've seen, it's like a return to normalcy is what they're saying. Like we had this huge, COVID depressed demand, and then companies, shut down their factories. So it almost seems like reading these reports, like they're saying, okay, now we're finally back to a normal car market in the US, which it's not my take, but so be it. So return to normalcy. They're saying slow growth ahead, but slow and steady growth in the car market. Vehicle supply is now back and kicking it. So what else? He said this is a buyer. We're bidding farewell to a seller's market, so buyer's market. Which, I mean, car prices that I've seen used car prices are going down, normalizing, you could say. So you could see car prices has had a huge effect on CPI data.
Oh yeah.
So if you took cars out, it looked really bad if you had cars in. CPI data. It looked terrible. It was like this lion's share of inflation. So that is normalizing. I do agree with that. Now, electric vehicles. So electric vehicles, it's growing, but it's slowing growth at only I think I said 7.6% of the US market is EVs. And the growth is slowing, not accelerating. So if you just look at it broadly, they're predicting I think it was 30% increase in EV sales, which sounds great on the surface. But then if you actually look at the charts and the data, it's like, well, that is less than, I think it was 56% growth or something the year before. So the growth is slowing real fast. And you can look at the surveys like I have, and it's like people have the same issues with EVs. It's price, it's concerns about charging infrastructure, things like that. Insurance costs, I think, are going to be a problem. Other data like that. So there's that. US car. You can see we're ahead of last year. So this chart, blue represents this year, and then the one to the left is 23, 22 on the left side. Oops. So we're off to a better start than last year. So that's positive. So what is doing well? You know what's doing well though, car sales wise from last year? Hybrids.
Yep.
Hybrids are coming back. Hybrid sales are doing phenomenal, double-digit growth. So they're going to have lots of options coming back because a lot of these companies have pulled back on their EVs production because they see the consumer demand, and they're going to be rolling out new advanced hybrids because a lot of them discontinued hybrid technology, pushed all EV, but now they're going to go back. Toyota, Honda, I think Stellantis, they're all going to come out with non-plug-in hybrids that have really impressive stats so far until they develop them. They're talking 40, 50 miles a gallon. So even for a truck. So we'll see. Yeah, here you go. Automotive shift favor buyers as U.S. new vehicle prices are down. So you can see this chart here. New vehicle prices, they had a slight downtick, but still crazy if you look at that. Like, look at this from the average cost of a new car.
Yeah.
Just freaking bananas. But you can see it's dropped from 2023 peaks a bit. What else? Man, these charts are such garbage. I can't even make them bigger. Not really. Percentage change in automaker. It's so fuzzy.
Yeah.
I wish this company did better. They're a really good reporting company for a market, or they're a great resource. So BMW is doing great right now. That's the one thing I noticed. Their sales growth, very impressive. But anyway, the funny part is it's like since I think I did the chart, since Tesla joined the S&P 500, every other car company has outperformed them stock wise. Stellantis, General Motors, Ford, Toyota, all of them have done better since December 2020, which is just hilarious. All of them. What the?
So you're telling me not everything is winner take all?
No, valuation matters for this because the growth, the crazy accelerating growth of Tesla kind of ended, and now you have the company last quarter 1% growth in car revenue. So that's bad, or not good, Bob. What else? Okay, this was the chart I wanted to show. Bullshit. Okay. I mean, this chart shows you, you can kind of see that you can see the declining growth, right?
Yeah, the growth rate
So
is
from 20 to 21 doubled, and then not quite double, even, and then barely 50% increase, and now we're 30-ish%. So you can see this rapidly declining growth chart for electric vehicle sales. So so if people just look at the metric 30% growth in EVs, and that's all that sounds very impressive. But then if you actually look under the hood, it's not great. It is very decelerated, and it's only 7%. I said this, what are we talking about, 5 months ago, that electric vehicle sales were fatiguing, and they were barely 8% of the US market as far as share of vehicle sales, and it already was showing fatigue. at that level. So this grand vision of like 50% EV sales in the US by like 2030 is just nuts. Anything like that. I mean, we're not at this, at this slowing rate of increasing. It's not going to be there even close. And price matters, and I've
Oh
gone
yeah.
over, I'm sure, lots of stuff with EVs. I just don't think the battery tech is ready for prime time. So this is where it stays probably. Next by 2030, maybe it gets to like 10% of the US market. I guess they could accelerate it again if they want to increase credits, which if Republicans are in power, good luck with that. And even if you have a split Congress, I don't see it going much more than that. So, Dan, you telling me? How dare you, Lincoln? Lots of inventory lately, especially Jeep Ram dealerships. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
EVs are being discounted greatly. Oh, yes. So there's just the EV thing, just people, I don't know, like maybe they can't wrap their heads around. Like there's just a significant portion of Americans, and I look at the surveys like me, and it's probably, you have a disproportionate amount of tech people on YouTube, would you say, right?
I'd say so, yeah.
You probably have more EV owners because tech people like electric vehicles and they're state of the art. So YouTube doesn't represent the public.
Yeah.
There's people like me. I don't want an EV. I just don't. And you can't convince me. I don't think the technology's ready. I will wait. So, and I'll wait for some point in the future. And I don't know when it'll be, but I'm totally not interested. I don't care what kind of credits Tesla offers me. I just don't, my utility company or the feds. I don't really care. I'm not interested. I'm waiting. So I'm just waiting. What? Are you going to get one? Are you all in? What are you going to
get? I'm chilling with my car. And next one that I'm looking at is my mom offered me to get her hybrid. She's got a Volvo, so I'm considering it. Still on the fence. I don't know if I want to, go back to paying the car bill, but we'll see. We'll see. I can wait.
So, like these are coming. I've mentioned this. So, except people like the hybrids that of like 10 years ago, like Priuses, and I think every manufacturer came out with a hybrid where they took like the Civic, the Tahoe, and they just put like two electric motors on the back wheels, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's barely a hybrid vehicle. It's basically a gas car with some electric motors in the back, just to call it hybrid. But like, so they were never vehicles that were totally from top to bottom constructed to be hybrid vehicles. They were just kind of slap it in there, right? Because it's just what customers they thought wanted. So now that now these are ground up built hybrid vehicles that are coming out in the next, like, I don't know if any are 2024. I think 2025 to 7 is when they're coming, because they brought them back. They didn't think they'd have to go back to them, I don't think. But these vehicles, from what they're talking about, like the Toyota, the Stellantis one I looked at, you're talking like 700 miles a tank of gas, 40 to 50 miles per gallon. So these things have like tri-motors, some of them electric motors. So I wonder if they're more set up like a diesel electric, where it's like the electric is running the car and the gas motor's just powering it. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't looked too much into the tech yet, but these vehicles are coming and they're not going to be that much more expensive than the current vehicles. So you're going to be able to get like a $35,000 Camry that you never have to charge it, and you get 700 miles out of a tank of gas. So that's coming. Like that, I'm very interested in that personally. And you don't have to worry about crazy increases in your insurance, dead batteries in Chicago, sitting in parking lots, which someone wanted to fight me over. So interesting though. So anyways, what do you think? You'll buy one?
It makes sense. Like I can see why it would be very appealing. Like Toyota does a really good job with those lines. Besides,
Yeah. And the thing, like some of the Tesla people over exaggerate, like Ford is pivoting a bit away from EVs. They've kind of changed what they're going to do. It's like, well, they can. They're not going to, and he said, like, they're not going to sell these things at a loss. They're just not. They have options, right? Tesla doesn't have any options, or Lucid or Rivian. They sell an electric vehicle. That's all they do. Whereas like Toyota, Honda, Ford, GM Okay, all right, EVs, customers aren't really demanding them. We're going to slow down production and we're going to pivot to hybrids and commercial vehicle sales. And those are their cash cows and they can do it. We still have time. We're not forced to buy EVs. So Ram made a hybrid pickup, which is smart. Yeah, that thing looks cool as hell. The new, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this is, I think, it. They're going to have a plug-in, I think, and a non-plug-in version. So that's not a great one. Is that the one? Yeah. I mean, they look really, really interesting what they're doing with these vehicles. So, and it looks like a truck. Imagine that. It really looks like a truck, unlike the cyber thing. But
why isn't it stainless steel, Dan?
and it's just like, I'm not like saying that EVs are, I'm sure at some point it will be, but I think it's going to take longer than these people who think it's like 2030. It's like we're all driving EVs. I'm like, I think you're way ahead of yourself on this.
Yeah.
Most Americans are not this high tech. And if you try and make it like laws, they're going to push back, except for like California. They're a bunch of progressive bussies, but even my state, I don't know if we're even on board with something like this in New York, like this aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, our current governor is kind of, but there's been some pushback. She wanted to take like, they wanted to cut like national or natural gas hookups and stuff. So whatever. All right, that topic is dead. It's dead to me. Okay, Rivian or SolarEdge?
I think Rivian has the natural flow. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Before we do this, okay, let me. I want to play part of the call. Okay, let me pull up.
Here we go.
Okay, you got to hear this. So we're in the Q&A part. So this is the beginning of the question and answer part. So I'll play like a minute of it. Hopefully people can hear it.
To ask a question, press *1 on your phone keypad, and to remove yourself from the queue, press *2. Again, that is *1 if you would like to ask a question. Our first question comes from Andrew Perocco with Morgan Stanley.
Great. Thanks so much for taking my question. And good evening, guys. So maybe just kind of starting out on the margins here. Apologies if I missed all the numbers, but I think you mentioned about 970 basis points or so of impact from volume-driven price discounts and some battery mix shift. Can you maybe just kind of reiterate or go over those numbers again in terms of how much you expect to come back in the first quarter, and then maybe the cadence beyond the first quarter in terms of the back half of the year where you expect to get and how you get there? Thank you.
Sure, and thanks for the question. So first of all, to explain a little bit again the term of the direct gross margins, and then what are the impacts. In general, there's a price that we charge our customers, and this price has not changed dramatically in the first quarter, as we mentioned before, other than batteries, where we started to increase costs, as previously mentioned. The second part, of course, is the cost that we pay to our contract manufacturers, and this is also, by the way, something that's relatively fixed, given the cost of bill of material and manufacturing costs with our contract manufacturers. So when we look at the first level of this direct gross margin, the only difference that we have when we have a certain level of revenues is what is the amount of customers that have, or the size of the customers that have different volume discounts. That's number one. And number two, which was actually a little bit more important and influential this quarter, is what is the mix of our products. So the first thing I would say that with this 970 basis points loss of gross margin compared to the previous quarter, a lot of it is actually related to the fact that our portion of single-phase batteries was much higher than in the previous quarters. Now, we need to remember that these are batteries that we manufacture based on cells that we acquired from Samsung. It's an agreement that we signed at the very end of 2021. At that time, by the way, NMC battery prices skyrocketed. And as a result of this, and since this was related also to the raw materials index during the war in Ukraine in 2022, those prices went up dramatically. And that means that today, when we're selling batteries, single-phase batteries made on these Samsung cells, our gross margins are very, very low. The second thing that happened is that actually in this oversupply environment, some of the customers that managed well their inventories and were able to either grow and actually need products to maintain their growth were large customers with very strong buying power. And therefore, in general, these will be customers that usually will be, I would say, less than 20% of the overall revenues. This quarter, they were like 60 or 70% sometimes of the overall revenues. Again, these are just numbers by means of example. So that was the second part. But I would still say that the biggest difference was, first of all, coming from the batteries and then from the customers. So I hope it helped on that side. What happens next quarter? So next quarter, two things are happening. The first thing is that across the mix of products that we expect to see and customers, we will see a little bit less of these very large customers with lower gross margins, simply because of the fact that, again, they have right now what they need. And the second thing is that the overall portion of the single-phase batteries will most likely be slightly lower compared to what we saw this quarter. And that means that we expect the majority of these 970 basis points to come back. Not all of them, but the majority. I will end up with one important thing, Andrew, and
I don't know if I hear you.
Oh, there.
Yep,
So,
cool.
Yeah, he's like, oh, no, this will snap back. 970 point margin destruction. Jesus Christ. Wait till we look at the presentation.
It will maybe be a theme that we will discuss over this call. The situation that we see today, as mentioned by Tzivi, is that the channels are very much filled with inventories because of all of the dynamics that Tzivi's mentioned. And what we do see is that
so in CEO talk or whoever this is, nobody's buying their products because they have tons of inventory. Awesome.
Today, customers are not buying a typical order from SolarEdge as they used to do before of X inverters and X optimizers. In some cases, these customers are stopped buying and they buy only those things that you see. And this is why sometimes
customers have stopped buying our products. Oh my God. Like, this is crazy to hear. Is it the CEO? I think he's, or CFO. I'm like, Jesus Christ. No wonder the thing dropped. Like, this sounds terrible. Like, terrible.
See a little bit of an abnormal situation where a customer is buying only inverters because they have too much optimizers. This quarter, actually, it was the other way around. We saw a lot of customers buying more inverters than optimizers. Sometimes more optimizers than usual at the ratio of inverters. We may see, as we mentioned this quarter, that the three-phase batteries in the German countries are relatively heavy on the channel inventory. But once they start to be clear, then we will see higher purchases of these products that enjoy very nice gross margins. So
normalize, talking about there will be back to normal business and they'll normalize inventories, which is like, well, how are you going to normalize inventories? Because we know from Nike, they had to do discounts, right? Because they had a really high inventory. So you don't just magically get rid of this inventory. You have to offer promotions, discounts, stuff like that, or you have to cut production of the products you have to make bad decisions to get rid of inventory or lower inventory. None of your options are good other than like selling more, which I don't think it sounds like that's an option. So anyways, that Jesus Christ.
SolarEdge.
That one question, I'm like, man, I would have tanked that thing 20% too, just like the market, listening to that answer. But looking at the finances, so
yeah.
Where is it? No.
Yeah, the investor price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's the charts? So look at this destruction. Like, look at the revenue. 890, 725, 360.
Just the
Jesus.
right direction you want it to go.
Wow. I mean, I'm not, holy crap. And then the margin you talked about, just complete obliteration of their margins. Like, holy crap. Losses are up, skyrocketed. So, and it's probably going to get worse if I didn't see the inventory on here. I guess you'd have to wait for the 10Q. How bad is it? I'm not sure. I don't think I saw it on here. It's probably somewhere. But yeah, everything is just like terrible. Everything. Look at this. Units shipped. Look at the fall off. And it's not even this quarter. It's been all year. So I think like we've kind of talked about this, Jesse and us. Like, it's just like it's not an appealing investment personally to none of us. I don't think any of us think solar is an appealing investment. Like, it's like you don't like, first of all, it's like you don't need a solar system on your building. Like, right off the bat, you have to make a choice to buy this stuff, right? You don't have to buy this stuff. You can just get power off the grid. So then if that's the case, if you have a choice to buy this stuff, for probably most people, maybe some of them have to, but if it's a choice, then you're doing it either, it saves you money, or you need you want to look green as a company. You have to have some reason. Interest rates go up, so if you have to borrow money to do this project, it's terrible. And power, natural gas prices have stayed down, which is natural gas is a big producer of electricity in the United States for power production. So that's been positive. Oil's pretty cheap at this point. So like, I mean, this is not unexpected. Like, nobody has to have these systems on their house, right? And commercial, they can just hook into the grid if they want. So like, this is crazy drop off. Like, my God.
Yeah.
I've never liked the solar business as far as an investment. It's just so volatile. It's such a volatile and miserable business to be in. Just not a fan. Like, just everything fell off the cliff. I would want very steep discounts to get. I would want like Paul 50% discounts to get into something like this. Like, that's saying something, but just the fall off. I mean, everything looks terrible. But someone's gonna be like, boy. It's like, I'm not even gonna. I'm not interested. It would have to like get cut in half. I literally, for me to even think about this. But blah. Have you ever bought solar or anything? Do you care?
I didn't. Like, the closest I got to was like contemplating end phase, and if you timed it right, like I looked at a chart, like a sloppy like glance at Google price movement chart, like last year, late October, early November, you would have done okay, relatively speaking, but it just not for me.
Look at the
So
expenses. Like,
yeah,
look at
it's
skyrocket inventory.
yep,
Shipping went off a cliff. Expenses skyrocketed.
yeah. Like
This is a lot of problems to handle for
yeah,
this company.
if you
So
can't control your costs and your customer base is rough.
now, if this gets, let's say, interest rates, they don't cut interest rates, so that's not momentum for this.
No.
So their cost to borrow is not getting better, and then housing sales stay miserable. I mean, there's so many things to think about with an investment in solar.
Yeah.
And I know a few channels that were pumping this and end phase, and they're bailing. I think some of them, if I heard them correct, they either bailed or they're selling contracts, which to me is just a sign that you've capitulated. If they want to sound smart without saying they sold it, like, oh no, I sold contracts. Oh, premium generating. Oh, premium generating. Okay. Anyways, so slap a big L on this one. Look at all of this. This is so
Yeah.
bad. They even had to color it. They should have colored it red, not blue. This is death. All of it. Just crazy. I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't take anymore.
Yeah, that's
But yeah,
rough.
if you look like, where'd it go? There was a chart here. Oh, it's gone now.
Was it a different
Like,
tab?
natural gas is pretty cheap right now. And if
Yeah.
you look here, I mean, here is energy consumption by source, production's not different.
Mhm.
Here, lots of natural gas, oil's cheapish kind of. So, and then here's the other thing that always bugged me about solar. So the places where you think solar would be advantageous were like more sun, right?
Yeah, Sunbelt.
Those places
Certain.
have cheap electricity.
Yep.
So the places that have expensive electricity that would actually make this a better product for you, right? Because you have higher costs to offset by solar. They're all like in the Northeast and Northwest, like the most expensive electricity in the country. Maine. You think solar is a good product for Maine, Michigan? Who else? New Jersey, New York. Like, okay, places where they're not advantageous to put. Like where are advantageous places to put solar, right? Deserts, places like that. Utah, cheap electricity. Texas is cheap. Tennessee. Where's Florida? Florida.
Yep.
On the cheaper side. So all like the growing Sunbelt states have cheap electricity already. And the places that you would think solar would work are Northeast, Northwest, which are just, not a great place to put solar, cloudy, not great solar production. So here it is. Like, I don't see it. I don't see it. There's a better way to play. So let's say you want to play the green energy future of America, right? So we need to produce greener energy. I don't know if you want to call it that. These freaking people, but like, so instead of thinking producing green energy, why don't people think about, hey, well, heat pumps save on fossil fuels. So instead of heating a building with fossil fuels like natural gas and oil, and now you're going to heat and cool buildings with electricity or cooling systems, right? And then the big players in these industries have the capex that they're able to produce these more high tech heat pump and refrigeration systems. So like here's Tran. I've had Tran for years now, doing pretty well, better than solar probably. So here's a company that's primed to take advantage of this green energy future that people think. Just restricting yourself to solar companies is so silly to me. Like you could think beyond the green actual production. Think of other companies that can benefit from a green future still. And I could pump Carrier too, actually. So these are companies that are primed to benefit from this thesis, and they don't have all the risks, I don't think, as a solar company, in my opinion. But I'm not pitching them here. So what do we got here? The only thing he's talking about. We're not moving on from that.
Yep.
Fabio, I thought you were going to bed. Someone told me. I think solar is necessary. Interesting. I mean, you don't have to have it. You can plug into the coal plant, power in your house if you want. I think what is interesting is like the modular. That could be a whole different episode. The modular nuclear power plants. I've seen that technology where they're smaller nuclear power plants, so they're cheaper to operate, and they're very energy efficient for cost, and they're green because they don't produce, they produce steam. So, like, what if that's the solution? Rather than putting solar panels that are made in China that you can't recycle on every building in the country, maybe that's the answer. So, I don't know. Government should require it. You're killing the planet. Hey, I don't see pictures of Tesla solar panels on your roof. So I think you're part of the problem. Buy the dip and don't trip, Dan. There you go.
Yep.
I have no idea. I mean, if you want to buy the dip on SolarEdge, good luck. I mean, if you bought Enphase's dip when it went to 70, which just coincided with everything else doing well. So, Dan, if we do Steam, we got to save WADA. Oh, yeah. Save the ocean. So, anyways, so there's that nuclear annihilation of a company. God, it's kind of funny when this happens. Just if unless you own it, then it's not funny.
Yeah.
But just when a company I used to draw stick figures when you'd have a company on earnings just nosedive. I would draw like little stick figure pictures of people jumping off the cliff. Like, so, and this like literally this one's like, where is it? If we pull it up. So let's go 5-day chart.
Yeah.
Timber. I love that. That is wild when you see
That's just
that.
rough.
I mean, sorry if you hold it.
Yeah.
but I don't think it's the right play. So, all right. Okay. Next is Rivian, right?
Yep.
Oh no, where did Rivian go? I must have. Okay, hold on a second.
Yep.
Did I close it? Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna have to. No, here it is. Okay.
No.
So let's play. We'll play part of a clip of this, which is okay. Now we have another CEO on earnings, except this isn't the call. This is an interview. I'll just play a few minutes of it, but this guy needs like someone to help him talking about his company. It's kind of rough, so we'll play.
I'm curious, in a general sense, how much has the EV market slowed down in the last 3 months?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen historically high interest rates, and we've, along with a lot of the geopolitical uncertainty, particularly for higher-priced products, in the premium segment, we're seeing the effect of interest rates, the effect of uncertainty, really impact how people are thinking about purchase decisions, and it led us to accelerating the launch of our standard pack to make sure that we have our full portfolio of products available.
So when you look at where the market is right now, your guidance for building 57,000 vehicles this year is well below what the street was expecting at 81,000. Where's the disconnect? Did the market, I mean, we've been talking about the market slowing down. Why did analysts miss it by such a wide margin?
Well, our R1T, R1S products, these are our flagship products. They have been performing really well relative to the market. So we have the best-selling electric vehicle with a price point of over $70,000. And so, as I said, the impact.
That's a weird hill to die on. Honestly, when he said that, I remember listening to this, and I'm like, what a weird, like, he was at a board meeting. He's like, guys, I need something to say that we're leading in something. Guys, go, give me something. And someone came back, we're best selling under over $70,000. Yes, we're gonna go with that. Like, what a freaking weird comment. But anyways,
of interest rates is impacting the whole segment, the whole call it premium segment. But relative to the rest, we still have the best-selling product in the market. And so as we look at 2024, we have a few things playing out. One is we're making a number of changes to the way we operate our plant, as well as our material costs, our bill of materials. And we'll be shutting down the plant for several weeks in the second quarter to make these changes. So that's an interruption to production. And then we're being very realistic just around the overall number of vehicles being purchased at these price points, at in the price range of over $70,000. But as far as I said, as far as
cost compared to the third quarter, and I know you outlined some of the changes that you're making in terms of cutting your costs. Is it realistic to think that you can get back or get to some type of a profit, positive profit margin in the fourth quarter, given the losses where they're at right now?
Well, if we look at the fourth quarter of 2022 and compare it to the fourth quarter of 2023, we reduced our overall cost per vehicle by about $81,000. And that's a combination of better operation, better, more efficient operations within the plant, and really improving some of the fixed cost absorption within the facility due to the ramp up. But the other big element here is continued progress on our material cost, and that's all the components that go into the vehicle. And so the shutdown that I just referred to that we're going to be making these pretty significant changes across the vehicle in terms of cost structure, in terms of componentry. That is going to be a huge enabler for us to get to positive margin. And as we talked about in our earnings call yesterday, we still have confidence and want to be very clear that the fourth quarter of this year we will be positive gross margin.
Will be. So interesting choice of words by him. Like, so he didn't leave any doubt there. He said they will be profitable fourth quarter this year, which is I'm like, holy shit. When he said that, I'm like, usually you got to slip in some, like, we should be, we're
Yeah.
guiding towards, or something like that. He just straight out, I mean, you missed that, man. Ooh, that's dangerous territory for this guy. I mean, we'll see, right? So we'll see in a year. I should add, at the bottom it said 57,000 vehicles produced. I think it was right here.
Yep.
I think they were original forecasts like 6 months or a year ago. Analysts were projecting they'd be like 80,000. So that's pretty bad. Like very under what was expected of this company, production wise. So it's not good. So here it is. It's an unprofitable company with a great product, I think we can say, right?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of an interesting boat to be in. The product, from everything I see online, people like it. Although I've heard there's maybe some maintenance issues with them, but it's a very well regarded EV, I think, in general. But of course it is. You're buying it for less than it costs to make it. So you're paying $100 or $70,000 for something that probably cost them like $120,000 to make it. So yeah, it's probably an amazing vehicle, like, but not for Rivian. So in that sense, you're getting a great deal, I guess. So I don't know. Like, that was really weird when he said they will be profitable by fourth quarter this year. I was like, wow, no wiggle room from you. Okay, we'll see. We'll turn that one off. I think they're cool. Like I said, I think it's great product. They just can't make them for friggin' profits. I mean, here's the dilemma. I mean, anybody can sell a vehicle at a loss, right? That's not the point. Can you make money doing this? Like when I looked at they had some weird press release note, which I thought was really odd. Okay. So, I mean, you can look here, production. I mean, it's not looking great.
No.
It's like, again, growth has halted. So we're not even in accelerated, we're not in growth, like stable growth. We're in growth has halted. So we went from 10,000 to 16 to 17. I mean, so basically that's flat. I mean, deliveries down now. Gross margin is declining. So it's not improving at this point. So that's kind of a bold statement to say they're going to be profitable. This refit has to solve all their this refit has to magically solve all their problems that they can't make vehicles for money. I mean,
oh yeah.
I don't know why you would buy this. I've said this before when I talked to Andrew about it. This company is physically incapable of building cars at a profit. I think if you buy it, you're gambling because it's unclear if they'll ever get to that point. We don't know if they can prove that they have a right to exist because we don't know if they can make money doing this. So here we go again. Like cash is declining. They have a lot of cash, but yeah, companies that dilute like they do have lots of cash always, but they dilute the hell out of shareholders. So this is kind of not like, okay, well, yeah, anybody can issue shares for cash. Inventory has skyrocketed. Look at that. Like that's bad. Deliveries are down, inventory skyrocketed, flatlined production. This is all bad.
Yeah.
I don't even, did the stock go down? What did the stock go down? Did you today?
Oh, I did not see that for today, but let me pull that up.
Other things that I noticed. Research costs are pretty high.
Yeah,
Not a good time.
Google says about 25% down on the day.
Yeah.
Since previous close. That's not great.
So I mean, this is all just like, I don't see how there's nothing to indicate in here they're on a path to profitability. So you have to believe this refit because I don't see anything in their financials that indicate they're on a path to profitability at all. It looks either marginal or declining, a lot of their metrics. So this refit he talked about has to solve all these problems.
Yeah.
That's what you have to believe. like how much more efficient are they going to get? Like, what is this refit? I mean, you could just wait and see if it works out. So let's see.
Fingers crossed they got some sort of like massive backlog somewhere that justifies that growing inventory, but good God.
Yeah. So like I think they were negative 40,000 per vehicle.
Yeah.
and then it got worse. So
It's just
where?
just awful. Like
Yeah,
fairness.
here it is. So this chart is fuzzy as hell. I don't know if it's fuzzy on your end, but so fourth quarter 2022 negative 124 gross profit per vehicle. Then they say Q4 this year negative 43, and then they're saying that that's now going to turn to profitability. We'll see. So they're saying they're going to get it from these fixed cost revenue per unit. I don't know. It all is based on this refit they're going to do at their factory. So if they don't get to profitability, I would be very worried because he said they will. So here it is. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
I've never liked. I think they can. They don't have an exclusive contract with Amazon, I think, anymore. So I remember they can. They could sell their commercial box vehicles, I think, to anyone. So,
oh, for what
but
that's worth.
it doesn't seem very meaningful to their business, honestly. They sell personal vehicles, like that's their business as far as revenue, like size of revenue. I saw a Cybertruck. It's like a zebra in the wild. Looked ugly. Wait till it rusts to shit in 5 years. Oh God. Yeah, nothing would make you enjoy your life better. You know, if you make 100 grand, you buy $100,000 vehicle and you have to hand wash it every week. You know, you got nothing better to do with your life than to hand wash your car. So, anyways, I don't know. I guess I don't see any reason why you'd buy this company. I really don't. I can't even think of anything. I mean, it's just they're so far away from where they say they're going to be in only 1 year. So, and I'm sure the stock got punished for this. So
Yeah.
I didn't look. Let's see what the price. We see 5 days. Yeah,
Yeah, it's at least
not
for
really
whatever it's worth.
surprising. Vertical. We got another stickman death cliff. So
Like
I
this.
mean, this is more speculative than SoFi, 100%, because at least SoFi is making money now, 1 quarter. But
Yeah.
this is as speculative as you get. This company's living on diluting you as a shareholder. I don't even think they could take if they took debt out on top of the share dilution, because they probably would get terrible rates. I mean, what bank would give them a good rate on debt for
Good
what they
God.
are? I don't think they're. Let me look. I don't think their debt's terrible.
No, last time I
Maybe it
remember.
is. Well, let's look. I haven't looked at this thing in detail since like 6 months ago.
Yeah, last I
Long-term debt.
remember, didn't seem like it was completely.
Oh, it's getting bad now. Look at it.
Oh,
It was stable. Like when I
Yeah.
looked at it last, I think I looked at it here. It wasn't so bad. So now they're getting
Uh-oh.
debt.
Yeah.
4.4 billion in debt. 7 billion cash. All right.
Yeah.
Now how much dilution now? I'm so bad at looking at it's easier to look at stockanalysis.com. Yeah. Okay, so I mean they're still doing it
Yep.
every quarter. Yep. Not terrible right now, but they've done terrible in the past. Where did they do it? Yeah. Yeah, here it was. 2021, they doubled their share count. So they wait till they have to, I think, and then they just do the damage in 1 quarter rather than bleeding it too bad. But this is coming again. Honestly, I could see them double their share count. So this could get bad real fast. With the debt now, they're going to do share dilution possibly. And then he's saying they will be profitable in 1 year. Okay. So this refit better be magic. They better sprinkle some unicorn dust on the machines when they refit the factory. So plus they'll have less sales because the refit means they shut down. So that's going to be less sales. Then they have to pay for the refit. Like this is so many moving pieces. I don't see how they make it work. And he was not very impressive in his interview detailing how this would work. I was not impressed with how he kind of stuttered through these answers of things he should have been prepared for them to ask about. I think his answers were kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah.
So I'd be worried. I don't know anybody that's pushing this really big online. So it's not a meme stock. I don't know. Would you think this is a meme stock?
It used to be. Like
Mhm.
this is like the price movement for this one is probably reason why I hesitate to say clown market is back, because like I wouldn't be surprised if there's like clown market bag holders, so to speak, if we wanted to be that way.
I mean, this is what it is.
Yeah.
If they actually get profitable in a year, like he said,
Hmm.
you could probably 3-4 your money potentially within
Yeah.
2 years
Yeah.
at the prices it's at. Maybe.
Maybe.
Um,
Yeah.
if he can't get there, this could be a penny stock real fast. So this is why this is like a one, this is a speculative investment in your portfolio. Um, it's not like Crocs would be different because Crocs is a different. It's
Yeah.
profitable, but the growth narrative is concerning, I guess you could
Mhm.
say. Um, so it's a little different, but
Yeah.
that's my take on Rivian. So great
That's
product. I wish that I don't know. I don't think they're going to get bought up by. They don't seem like they want to get bought by somebody. But like, who would buy? I mean, like Tesla doesn't need them.
no.
Why would Tesla buy this? So Tesla doesn't need this. And they could make a Cybertruck that looks similar to a Rivian if they wanted, which they will eventually get to a normal looking truck. I have no doubt at some point. And GM and Ford, why the hell would you buy this? Toyota doesn't do that.
No.
So that's not the solution. That's not what's happening here. So, anyways, okay, there is Rivian. The last topic.
Oh yes.
We're at an hour, so we're doing good.
Oh
Cooking.
yeah. Yep.
This is we always leave the most boring topic for the end, I think.
I'm not sure.
I think the environmental topics are always the last because they're like the most boring, but they're relevant. I don't see anybody talk about this stuff online.
No.
Carbon capture, carbon credits, and now this emission stuff. So, I mean, this does affect the business world.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Yeah. Because
what do you know? You brought it up, so you take it away. So,
alrighty. Yeah. So this one, the SEC regulations as far as like disclosure on carbon emissions was like announced March 2021st, roughly, like 2022. Now the thing is like how you disclose your carbon emissions are different, and from an investor's perspective, from a business owner's perspective, we care about this because disclosure means money. Like you inherently get this because you have an accounting background. I aspire to be a future, person in that space, and it clicks with me. Maybe not for everyone else. So disclosure comes with costs, and the way how you would disclose it is with scopes, and it seems like the regulators are being cautious on how much companies will have to disclose. So yeah, if you're able to go to the scope 1 and 2 and 3 link, that would help like explain a huge amount. Yeah, so like as of
this is a
right
better
now,
chart right
yeah,
here.
yep, yeah. So as of right now, we got scope 1 and 2, which would be like scope 1. It's very simple. It's like direct. Like say you have a factory, you're making widgets. The carbon that's generated in your factory, boom, that's direct. Scope 2 would be relatively simple also. Like say you got a headquarters building that has electricity from the grid, you would like calculate how much energy you're using, figure out how much of like carbon is being emitted from the grid that you're using. Boom, you got scope 2. You know, not crazy costs to figure out, not crazy time amount needed. But scope 3 is where things get a little bit tricky. And that's what the regulators are paring back. And they've kicked this can down the road like multiple times. They did it like last year, December or October or November, around that time frame. And it seems like they're doing it again, where they're saying, yeah, we're not doing scope 3. And scope 3 would be, all right, you got a widget factory. Well, you need things to make the widgets. Well, what if your widgets are made out of wood? Well, we got to figure out the lumber process, the transportation of the lumber, blah 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 blah. And in which case, like you're hassling not only yourself but also your suppliers, and again, disclosure ramps up cost. So it's just something to be aware of right now, and it doesn't seem like it should hit anytime too soon, but just something to be aware of.
So when does the 1 and 2 have to start?
I
Scope
think
1
it
and 2.
I think it already started. I want to say California, they've already done scope 1, 2, and 3 for their own companies. But with this being SEC, then this would effectively be you know nationwide.
Oh, I see.
um,
California, man.
yeah,
Bunch of
yeah,
dipshits out there.
yeah,
So, okay, I get it.
yep.
It is interesting.
It is. It is.
So scope 1 is like, pull this out.
Yep.
Scope
Very.
1, direct emissions of your producing whatever you produce as a
Mhm.
company, right?
Yep.
You have to declare the greenhouse effects. Okay. And then
Yep.
scope 2, you have to also declare the greenhouse gas emissions from the production of the energy that came into your building, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what's the power plant near you, I guess?
Hmm.
So that's probably not,
Yeah,
they're probably
it's,
okay, that's easy enough. We can
yep,
we can figure out where the power is coming from the utility company. So
yep.
yeah, I can understand why they're fighting scope 3, because this is pretty ambiguous. All indirect emissions from what? Right? I think I read it. I read the file. It was all indirect carbon emissions that are not disclosed in number 1 or 2
Yes.
are scope 3.
Yeah.
Like, how the F do you think a company is gonna figure that out without extreme that is so, like, I'm thinking here as an auditor, how would you possibly, like, create standards for this? So it's just all greenhouse emissions related to your operations that weren't covered in the first 2.
Yep.
Well, who's deciding what's in or out of that? Like, oh my god, I can understand why they're fighting this. That's ridiculous. So, and for people like, this is just, they have to disclose this, right?
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
it in their normal filings? Is it is it annual, or is it
I
part of like their quarterlies, or
I want to say it's annual.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but even then though, like to be that all encompassing for scope 3,
Yeah.
like
That's absurd.
yeah,
How? Who draws the line of what's included in scope 3? And like, I'm in the world of auditing, and it's like there's lines drawn, right? Like, I have to teach my auditors, you inspect documents to a certain point, and it's not 100% because we don't have time. So there has to be a line. You draw it in the sand, that's what you look at, or what you consider in whatever world, and then that's it, and you move on. But like, if it's everything that's not in 1 and 2, how the hell who decides that? And what if one company decides it's different than another company? Like, the government's not, there's no effing way the government could, audit this stuff. I don't see how. This is absurd. This is absurd. So, but this is the world we're in. So, but this is good for people like you and me. So, for the people that say artificial intelligence is going to take all the accounting auditing jobs, I'm like, you're an effing idiot. There's lots of other people that should be worried about the jobs. It's not accountants. All right. So, with the boomers retiring combined with, okay, some certain tasks in accounting will be, I'm not going to say replaced, just more efficiently, used with AI, will take some of these menial tasks away. But then new stuff will come out, like ESG auditing and assurance services. That didn't exist. It will exist in the future. So
mhm,
some jobs go away, new jobs are created in accounting. And less people are going into the profession with retirements also. So this is a great profession to be in. Like, if you can handle the stress of it, accounting auditing is a great profession. You will make a 6-figure salary being in this profession. At some point, few 5-10 years in, I don't know, but
mhm.
most people will get there. I have no doubt. And if you don't like working for the big four, you could work for the government or a county, or you could be the comptroller for a little construction company, like, because they don't have the money for artificial intelligence. So there's this is coming, but
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But
it is
yeah,
interesting, and this is my. It's funny you picked National Grid, which is my utility company. Is it yours too?
it's not, but I'm
Okay.
watching on the sidelines. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. How did you know? This is my utility company, anyways, in my area. Yeah, I don't know how they do this. So what's going to happen? The California rule is going to get sued. They're going to sue it to death. Every company in America, probably, Jesus, or they're just not going to disclose it because that's an unfair. If you have one company, they'll be like, okay, I'm in the whole country, and then this other company's in like 40 states. They don't have to do the scope 3 disclosure, but I have this cost that I have to do it. That's an unfair competitive advantage. So yeah, I don't know how they're going to deal with that. There's going to be lots of lawsuits over this, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
California always causing damn trouble. Gil, don't you live in California? Explain yourself. What's wrong with your podunk progressive paradise? Destroying our America. And they say New York's progressive. Oof. But yeah, this stuff is gonna matter. And I've said I don't think the government this works if the government doesn't mandate it, this greenhouse stuff. But then if you don't mandate it, it's voluntary, so you're not going to get as much of a buy-in if they don't have to. Some companies will, like Apple's in already. So I hate my state too. Oh, you live in California too, Lincoln? Oh, I'm sorry. Thoughts and prayers. Why would you live in that state? I'm an East Coaster, so I guess it is what it is. So I'll live and die on the East Coast from now on. SoFi still. Oh my god.
Oh my. Oof.
They've done this before because I've been tracking them. I don't think, do investors know this? When they do their earnings, they don't release the 10Q. They release like an 8K with just like the broad strokes. The 10Q comes like a week or two later normally, which is when people cover earnings. It's hard to cover earnings on earnings day because you're not getting everything. And if you cover it 2 weeks later, does anyone really care at that point? It's old news. So you're not going to get that coverage from people on YouTube, which there is, especially for SoFi. There are things in the 10Q that are important that are not in the earnings releases. Interesting. I wonder why it hasn't been released yet. I think that was like 3 weeks ago. SoFi earnings. It was a while ago now.
Yeah.
Just parallel the Helion. Oh my god, 20x. We want 50% of your income. So, anyways, should we mention? Do you want to bag on a? This is bonus content if people want. We can bag on Yield Max.
Yeah. Why not?
We shared a clip. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up if I can find it. Oh, give me a second. I'm scrolling up. Where'd it go? Hold on. Okay. I think I got it. Riveting, isn't this? So you working tomorrow? What are you doing? School?
Yeah.
Oh, it's winter break, isn't it?
Not yet. Still got midterms coming up early next month, and then
midterms.
Yeah. It's fun times.
Let me pull this up. I think he talks about it here. Okay. Good old Khmer.
Just jump in and make it went from $15, $13, dropped.
I think he talks about
forget about this year taxes, but I got to owe back taxes. I got to pay that. So what I'm going to do is to take $3,000 a month and just pay all my taxes, forever. So essentially, I'm only going to have out of $6,000 a month, I'm only going to have $3,000 to play with. That's pretty much it. So I don't have $6,000 to play with. So at this rate, that means I'm not going to get $10,000 by the end of the year. Obviously, that was calculation based on $6,000 a month. But the thing is, my tax situation should be resolved. I shouldn't have any issue, and none. Plus, I paid off all my other taxes.
That's not how taxes
This is
work.
the great thing about having a cash flow income, because I can do this. If I don't have a cash flow, if I don't have $6,000 a month, I won't be able to do this. All right. So like I told you, I'm not worried about my my margin. My margin is 69,000. The reason I'm not worried is like, for example,
So for people watching,
The hell?
he has $70,000 or $60,000 of margin. Now he's using Schwab. I believe Schwab is charging something around 8 to 10% interest on margin at this point.
Oh God.
I may be wrong, but I think it's like 8 to 10% margin at Schwab. So he's got that cost, right? He's also paying, he said 30% taxes. I don't know what state he's in. So he's paying 30% of his yield max distributions are taxable. He's paying 8 to 10% on that $60,000 margin. He was down 22,000 last time I watched a video from him about a week or two ago. He is now down $24,000 on the value of his holdings. This is a train wreck. It's a train wreck in motion. It's like a slow. Do you remember Austin Powers when he runs over the dude with the bulldozer moving like 1 mile per hour? And it's like, no, it's like it just keeps. This is what this is. It's just a slow moving train wreck. And it's crazy. He is so. People have tried to say stuff and he bans them. And he pretends he's like teaching people this, or he thinks that he's so right. I feel bad because he's a Marine. Like, I don't like bagging on other military people. Like, he's an active duty Marine. He's not even retired. And he can't see it. Like, he can't see what he's doing. He just sees the dollar amount, right? $10,000 a year in dividends. That's all he can see. That's his goal. He can't see, and he ignores everything else that's a warning, like red flags going everywhere. Like, hey, you're losing money hand over fist on your investment. You're getting taxed 30%. You have to pay back taxes on these distributions. Like I've said before, these people are going to get hosed on their taxes, and they don't even see it coming, just like he said. Because if you have back taxes, you didn't see it coming because you would have paid it. So, and then he's paying margin interest. So it's just a complete devastation of your. That's why I say capital destruction. That's what this is. This is capital destruction in motion. It's a slow moving destruction. So it's not like Wall Street bets where it's like you're down 90%.
Yeah.
This is like you're down 90% in a year or two, but you didn't see it coming because it was slow. But holy shit, because I don't think they realize you're not getting long-term cap gains, you're getting short-term. And you have to reinvest. The guy running these funds even said it. I covered it. That J guy. You have to reinvest your dividend back into the yield max funds to maintain the dollar amount. He said it. It's in the filings even, I think. So you get all this delicious dividends from yield max. You got to pay 30% of the taxes. Then you need to reinvest probably 50% of it to keep your payments up. And then you got the margin interest. There's nothing left on the table for you to actually put in your pocket. That's travesty. These people can't understand. They think they could just turn the spigot on at some point in the future and just start getting that money. But what they don't understand is that you're never there's no spigot. There's no dividend. There's just going to be a little drip at the end. Like, it's friggin' nuts. It's glorious. There's nothing you can do to save this man. There really isn't. I can't even imagine if he would let me on. He'd probably kick me off right away. But just complete devastation. Sucks. But
yeah.
And we can look. I can look at the exact same thing I looked at with Tesla. I did November because that's when Tesla ran like crazy last November. So it's a good comparison. So we can look at what Coney has done this year, right? Because Coinbase has performed very well. So if we apply, let's look at Coney versus Coinbase. Okay. And now I know they're going to say you need total return.
Total return. Yeah.
Like it freaking matters. It doesn't matter. You're still a clown. Again, it's like year to date. No, let's chart. We'll do 6 months. Okay. Again, like this is how you get wrecked. Like you underperform the asset. And they look, well, Coney did better than SPY. Like that's not but it's benchmarked to coin. If you had bought coin, you would doubled your money. So why are you talking about SPY? You're underperforming the asset it tracks. And then here it is. Look at Coinbase, right? Look at CoinRip,
Yep.
and he doesn't get those benefits. But then when it starts to go down, the downside is about the same. If you look, it's really not much different. The downtrend is pretty much identical, and the uptrend, you get like half. So there it is. I have a chart. Even. Find my chart.
It's like the market has enough smart people that know this. But you know what? It's a rigged market, Dan. I'm surprised they haven't said that one yet.
You can't reason with some of these people. I mean, I don't know. I still try some of them. I think I can save some people, but I don't know how much more they got destroyed on Tesla. And you're like, okay, maybe they will listen to me now. I can message them. And then nope, some of these channels just keep making yield max content, even though they got wrecked, but they won't say they got wrecked, right? Of course they made money, even though Tesla got obliterated the last 6 months, but they'll tell you they made money on it because they're so genius. So again, like the coping is hilarious. Like here's the perfect example of how clownish yield max is. I love this chart. So when it's down, so the ETF is the pink and the underlying stock is the green, right? On the downside, you have almost the same loss, right? Because if they're closer together, that means they have similar return. So on the downside, you can see they're just pretty much the same. If they perform well, though, look at the gap start. Look at the gap get bigger and bigger. So as the underlying asset outperforms on the upside, you get trailed even worse. Look at these two, Meta and Nvidia, right? So the benchmark stock has done way better, and the derivative strategy does much worse. But then if it went this way, you get in all the downside. So I mean, this is in the end, this is it right here. Why this is going to fail these people. So, and you never recover, because if it goes here, you get all that loss, and you don't get it if it recovers. You don't get that. The recovery doesn't help you. It just you get that the degradation over time. So, and they're seeing it with Coney now. It was 28. Now it's sounding like 20ish, I think. And even if coin rips again, they won't get all of that. So these people are going to be, get wrecked, I guess. I don't know.
It's just painful.
It is. Like, you actually have a competitive advantage with qualified dividends, right? If you're going to do dividend strategy, that is an advantage in a taxable account to actually have qualified dividends, because you're paying a flat 15%. It's not your income rate. So these people probably don't get that. They probably don't know. I'm telling you, like, their tax bills are coming, and they're going to be shocked, because they're going to think that they reinvested it. So they didn't actually take any money. So they're not getting taxed. A lot of them are going to get a rude surprise, but
true patriots,
anyway.
all of them.
That's what I keep saying. They're true patriots, because you have made huge contributions to the U.S. government. We thank you for that. Thank you for paying for my benefits. So my Social Security coming up. Unbelievable.
Man.
Yeah. They're paying for the military that will go over at some point. The military stocks that I buy. Thank you for your taxes. So. Oh, well, with that, I think that's it. I don't got anything else. Fun day.
Oh, yeah.
2 videos in one day. There you go.
Yep.
Now I got to go kill some people in Chivalry too. Or players, not people. Like, let's calm down, people.
This is true.
I'm going to slay some medieval knights, maybe. But other than that, I don't know. Just looking at stuff right now. Infrastructure. One of my infrastructure companies is doing earnings tomorrow. So, well, I'm interested in it anyways. I don't want to get into it yet, but
yeah,
we will see. Reduce deficit. Reducing the deficit one yield max fund at a time. That's what we just got to say. They're not terrible people. They are patriots. They are patriots. They are paying way more than their fair share in taxes. Dan, do a quick stock analysis on an HVAC. Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
DKIL. I'm going to look at it briefly. I'm tired. Well, not tired enough not to play games, but
DKIL. Oh, is
Did
this
you?
a foreign one?
Did you just say a porn one?
Foreign one.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, because. Or was that a mistype?
yeah. Did you mistype that? DKIL.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Wait. Oh, Daikin. Okay, that explains why.
Oh,
My brother told me they're one of the industry leaders in heat pump units and split units, but they're part of a huge conglomerate company, which kind of is a bummer. And it's a Japanese stock. It's not in the US. So you got to buy a foreign over the counter.
yep.
I don't know. Yeah, it's one of, like, the tech was interesting. I looked at it, and then I found out it's only like a piece of the bigger company. Not my bag. So, but do more research. I don't know. I haven't looked into it much beyond that. Yeah, maybe it works. So, with that said, thanks for listening. Do you have anything else? Parting shots?
No, thanks for having me on. Like, I appreciate it. Always good to be here.
Yeah, fun
Yep.
times. It's hard to find good subjects that aren't. I hate talking about, like, if everyone talks about one thing online, I'm like, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So much NVIDIA talk, Jesus Christ. Which is
Same.
fine.
Mhm.
Holy crap, like, amazing performance. So
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Yeah, I'm not hating. Hell, it's
No.
a passive holding of mine. Like,
it's all it should be a passive holding of all of us. So you
Yeah.
should be happy. It's the third biggest holding in your freaking retirement account, basically. So good for all of us.
Yep.
So that company's a true patriot too. But better it's an American company. God bless it.
Yep.
All right. Well, have a good night. And we will talk to you later.